Hi everyone, and welcome back to SBS 304 Research Methods. Today we're going to talk about our lab exercises and how they're going to fit into the broader scope of your senior research. So the goal of this course is really to fit into the senior research sequence. We want to prepare you to do senior research that's going to be interesting and successful for you. So how this fits in is this is the first course you'll take related to your senior research. And in this course, you're really going to design your research. You're going to choose a research topic that interests you, and you're going to use this course to investigate different methods you could use to conduct your research. We're going to look at several different types of research, which we'll talk more about in a moment. But the important thing is to choose a topic and decide how you want to go about answering a question related to that topic. So next, after this course in the spring, you'll take statistics, where you'll learn the statistical techniques necessary for investigating your topic. So that may, whether you're doing quantitative or qualitative work, we'll talk about that distinction more later. But whether you're doing surveys or content analysis or in-depth interviews or some other form of research that we can discuss, you'll need to understand some statistics in order to interpret your results. Next, you'll take a theory course, which will help you to frame your research, to connect your research to sociological or political science or global comparative studies theory, which helps you determine how your research fits into the broader scientific conversation. Finally, you'll actually conduct your senior research in your senior seminar course. So this course is really the first step in choosing your topic, designing your study, and beginning to investigate the topic you care about. So we're going to use several different sociological, political science, and other social science methods to investigate the topic you choose. First, we'll talk about surveys. So surveys are a common way to investigate a topic. There are many strengths to surveys. I want to encourage you that we're going to investigate survey research methods in much more depth later in the semester. But the kind of information that surveys give us is numerical. Surveys tell us what most people think reducible to numbers, figures, statistics. We're also going to use interview methods. So you will practice conducting in-depth interviews related to your topic. And what that gives us is actually like a depth of knowledge, some experiential knowledge. So there's a difference in asking someone, like you might on a survey, how much do you agree that the following topic is important? And sitting down with them and saying, how do you feel about this topic? What does this mean to you? So we're going to practice doing both. We're going to talk about some other methods like assessment and participatory action research more briefly. But we're also going to look at content analysis research. Content analysis research is a method where you take existing data, existing materials. It's also called materials research. Existing materials, which can be something like archived documents or objects or media for popular consumption, and you'll analyze those media, those documents, those materials in a systematic way that answers a research question you have about your topic. The first step, of course, in your first lab exercise, which is due in about 3 weeks, is choosing a topic. So you have about 3 weeks to really think about what you want to do your senior research on. Now, I know that it's 2 years in the making, so it's really important that you choose something you care about because you're going to be working on it for 2 years. If you choose something because you think it will be easy, or because you think it will be convenient, or because you think it's topical and hot right now, you're going to be miserable after spending 2 years researching this topic that you don't really care about. So please, the most important thing is to choose something that you're going to be content spending 2 years of your academic life working on. Do not choose something because you think someone else will like it. Choose something you like. That said, try to think about how your topic relates to other people's concerns. If something is of interest only to you, then maybe it's something you want to think about on your own. Maybe it's something you want to ponder on, to meditate on, to read about for fun, but it may not make the best social science research. That's because research is a conversation. We don't do, contrary to popular belief, kind of research in a vacuum where we sit in our office alone and think about a topic that only we care about, that's so nuanced and so minute that no one else cares about it, and then try to publish from that. Instead, we're having what should be a vibrant and cooperative and collaborative conversation about topics of interest to society. So if you're a political scientist, you want to do something that is relevant to the political life of the nation or region or systems that you're interested in. If you're a sociologist, you want to do something related to social life writ large, something related to an issue other people care about. This is not to contradict what I said before. The most important person you have to fascinate and compel with your research is yourself, because you're the one who has to work on it for ages. So please think about something that you care about very much that also fits into the concerns of other people. That isn't something so particular to just you that no one will want to read it, or that it won't matter what you learn. Ideally, what you learn should answer a question that could help other people, that could make someone's life or world better, or that could improve an existing way of doing things, or a way of creating knowledge. So think about the utility and the broader interest of your topic. You also want to do something that is achievable. So we're going to do one lab exercise later on that's a feasibility analysis. We're going to think about the feasibility of your research. I want you to consider ahead of time what will get in your way of trying to do the research you want to do. And that's not to turn you off of doing it. That's really so I can help you plan around that. Some things are going to be non-starters. Some things are not going to be achievable by an undergraduate because they require more time than you have, or because they require more access than I can get you to specific data sets, or because they require more resources financially or logistically than you're going to have access to. So you're not going to do a large-scale experimental study. And if the only way to answer your question is through a large-scale experimental study, it's not going to be feasible at this time. That doesn't mean that you should give up on that idea. If what you really want to do with your life is a large-scale experimental study, then choose a career path that's going to allow you to do that later. For now, we need to choose something that's going to be achievable by an undergraduate within 2 years. So within 2 academic years. So we need to choose something that's going to be feasible in your time frame, given your expertise, given your resources. Now, that affects what kinds of questions you can answer, but it doesn't necessarily affect what topic you can research. There are lots of angles on any given topic. So if I want to research incarcerated people, and I'm an undergraduate, I can't get access to prison inmates. I can't get access to research people who are currently incarcerated. As we'll talk about later when we talk about research ethics, those people are considered a protected population because they have limited ability to give and withhold consent. So that's not something as an undergraduate that I would be able to do. That doesn't mean I can't research effects of the prison system. I could look at economic outcomes related to incarceration. I could survey non incarcerated people about how much threat of incarceration deters them from committing crimes. I could research formerly incarcerated persons who are now free and not incarcerated. There are lots of ways I could get at the question I have without doing a particular method that may have initially interested me. So please don't give up on a topic you really care about just because you think it might be difficult. If you have an idea and you're passionate about it, talk to me and let's find a feasible way of doing your project. It's also wise, and it may not be possible for everyone, but it's a great idea to choose a topic or a project that relates directly to your future career goals if you know what those are right now. For some of you, you're college juniors, you don't know what your career goals are, and that's okay. When I was a college junior, I absolutely knew what my career goals were, and boy, was I wrong. I'm not doing anything like what I wanted to do when I was a college junior. I wanted to be a nonprofit administrator. Wow, I tried that for 2 years and I was terrible at it. So there are lots of things you may think you want to do right now, and those goals will shift and evolve, and that's appropriate. So please don't box yourself in, but if you think you want to do something related to the law or lawmaking, then maybe researching policy is a good idea for you. If you think you want to do something in the human services sector, the nonprofit sector, then maybe researching how people feel about a particular nonprofit program or intervention could be a good idea. If you think you want to do something related to global politics, then you may want to field a survey internationally and interview people in other countries about how they feel about global political issues. So think about how what you want to do in your future relates to what you're doing with your research now. Even though this project that you're doing for this course is going to be pretty small in scope, you're going to develop it in your senior research, and your senior research could easily be developed into a master's thesis or even a doctoral dissertation if you think ahead and think strategically. So, and if you don't know what your goals are right now, please don't be discouraged. It's really okay. Maybe you have several options available to you. Maybe you are blessed with an embarrassment of riches when it comes to options. And maybe you're just not there in your life. Please don't be discouraged. It is really okay at this stage of life to not be sure. Just do something you care about that sparks your interest and that you think will help you develop as a thinker. Because good critical thinking skills will serve you well no matter what you do in the rest of your life. So I want to encourage you to take the first step toward choosing a research topic, which is brainstorming. I want you to think about ideas that interest you, ideas you might relate to on a professional level, ideas you relate to on a personal or cultural level, ideas that sparked your interest in previous classes. Then start thinking about what questions do you want to answer related to those topics. And then start thinking, what do you need to learn to be able to answer those questions? What kind of access do you need to resources? What kind of advice do you need? Start thinking about how long would it take to answer your question. And you may not know the answer to these questions, which brings me to the second step you want to take schedule a meeting with me. I really encourage you, in the strongest possible terms, to schedule a meeting with me before the first lab exercise is due. There are several reasons for this. The first is I can help you narrow down a topic or develop and broaden a topic that might feel too narrow. Um, I've done a lot of research in a lot of courses and in my professional life, and I'm able to help you develop a passion into a question that you can actually research and find the answer to given your resources. The other reason is this is an all virtual class with an all virtual lab. We're going to be working a lot together, and I'm going to be assessing you on many occasions. Getting to hear from you as a person and know where you're at with your interests and with your research agenda is really useful to me. It helps me know how to help you. So, having that initial conversation about what you want to research and how you want to go about it helps me know what kind of feedback to give you, helps me know how to encourage you best, helps me know how to shape my lectures moving forward. If everyone wants to do survey methods and everyone has a question that lends itself best to survey methods, or if most people do, I can retailor the syllabus to uh, go more in depth on different kinds of survey methods. And maybe we leave materials research, for the last week. So if everybody really wants to do in-depth interviews, I can go into more depth on that. If you want to do something that I think will best lend itself to something like evaluation research or participatory action research or feminist research methods, then I can point you to resources that might be very particular to just you as a student that we're not really going to cover in the class. So please talk to me early and have ideas, but don't wait until you're sure about what you want to do to talk to me. I am an incredibly friendly person, and I'm anxious to hear from you and to help you. So please schedule that appointment right away. I'm going to close here, but please get in touch right away with any questions. Post in the discussion forum, and email me anytime that you want to talk. You can use my scheduling app on Moodle. There's a link on Moodle to my scheduling app, so you can make an appointment with me. 15 minutes should be adequate for most people for an initial meeting, but if you have something particular that you want to talk about, go ahead and schedule half an hour. I don't think anyone will need an hour for an initial conversation, but I could be wrong. We can always schedule a follow-up. And if you know what you want to talk about, or if you have specific questions or specific things you want out of the meeting, feel free to make a note when you schedule or to email me ahead of the meeting and say, hey, I really want to talk about this question. That helps me be prepared and pull resources that might help you ahead of time and make the most of our time together. So be as proactive as you can, but please go ahead and schedule a meeting and don't hesitate. All right, I look forward to hearing from each of you, hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Thanks very much.